counsel, Grant and Eisenhower, PA, has filed a lawsuit earlier today against DePaul University on behalf of our clients, Jewish students Max Long and Michael Kaminsky. The lawsuit seeks to hold DePaul accountable for its failure to protect its Jewish students, a failure which culminated in a violent hate crime attack against Max and Michael last November by perpetrators who remain at large. Prior to the attack, Max, an IDF reservist, was attempting to engage in productive dialogue with his classmates on campus about Israel's efforts to defend itself after Hamas's terrorist attack on October 7th, 2023. While doing so, he was ambushed from behind by two masked assailants who beat him with such force that he suffered a concussion. And when Michael stepped in to help Max during the attack, while DePaul public safety officers stood idly by and watched, the assailants turned their attention to him, resulting in an injury to Michael's wrist that required surgery. It's important to note that this attack didn't just come out of nowhere. It was the foreseeable and logical result of the failure of DePaul University to address the legitimate safety concerns of its Jewish students for years, including concerns raised by both Max and Michael shortly before their attack. Since October 7th, DePaul University has allowed the violent anti-Semitic rhetoric permeating throughout its campus to continue to escalate and go unchecked. Our history has shown us that violent rhetoric against Jews leads to violent action, and we have seen this play out before our eyes on college campuses like DePaul, where Jewish students like Max and Michael are viewed as legitimate targets for physical violence. Max and Michael continue to be subjected to a campaign of harassment, both on campus and online, further exacerbating their psychological trauma from the attack. Student groups routinely broadcast Max's picture to their followers on social media and on flyers distributed around campus, branding him as wanted and declaring that he got what he deserved. DePaul University has done nothing to put a stop to this harassment, nor have they made any genuine efforts since the attack to ensure the safety of their Jewish students moving forward. This case should put an end to the false narratives that seek to dismiss concerns about the rise of anti-Semitism on our college campuses by falsely claiming that they are attacks on free speech. Jewish students on college campuses are not looking to censor the speech of their classmates. They are living in constant fear for their safety on campus. Jewish students are being harassed, threatened, spat on, and in the case of Max and Michael, physically attacked. This is unacceptable, and it will no longer be tolerated. In filing this lawsuit, we hope not only to hold DePaul accountable to our clients for this attack, but to all Jewish students who live in constant fear for their safety on DePaul's campus. We also hope that this case will serve as a cautionary tale for colleges and universities across the country. You must take swift and decisive action now to protect your Jewish students. Thank you.
Good morning. Lisa Weinstein, Weinstein. I'm a partner with the law firm Grant and Eisenhower, Eisenhofer. I manage our Chicago office. And Grant and Eisenhower, along with the Lawfare Project, believe that all students should have a safe education environment without hate and violence, indifference to anti-Semitism, and to any hate-based violence on college campuses is simply unacceptable. And now you're going to hear from Max and Michael about their experience at DePaul University.
Good morning. I want to thank our attorneys at the Lawfare Project and at Grant and Eisenhofer. My name is Max Long, M-A-X-L-O-N-G, and I'm here today because I never imagined that being a proud Zionist would make me a target at my university. On October 7th, I was in Israel. I served in the Israel Defense Forces, as all Israelis must. I was doing my duty to protect my people and defend my homeland. I will never apologize. I have nothing to be ashamed of. But when I returned from the war and enrolled at DePaul University, I entered a place that claimed to be a sanctuary of learning, but where truth and falsehood became matters of opinion. I watched a dangerous ideology take root, one that rejects lived human experiences and instead embraces narratives designed to demonize my people. I've walked through halls where facts I lived, things I saw with my own eyes, were dismissed as fake. I've heard people say that I didn't see what I saw, that my story wasn't real because it didn't align with their worldview. I believe in free speech, and I didn't try to silence opposing voices. I didn't shout anyone down. I simply stepped forward to speak my truth. I offered a first-hand account, not to provoke, but to start the dialogue that's so desperately needed. Because if we can't talk to each other here, thousands of miles away from the conflict, how can we ever hope for peace there? But even that was too much for DePaul. The first time I returned to campus after the attack, I joined a small prayer circle, 10 people gathering quietly to honor the Bibas family, murdered by Hamas. We weren't protesting, we weren't disrupting, we were mourning. But I was singled out by public safety and told to, quote, take the event to the sidewalk, as if our grief didn't belong, as if our pain made others uncomfortable, as if we were the problem. That moment made something painfully clear. DePaul wasn't going to protect me. In fact, it was going to try to silence me. I've been doxxed, harassed, stalked, and physically attacked, not because I broke any rule, but because I dared to speak up. I dared to challenge misinformation, because I dared to exist proudly as a Jewish Zionist. What is happening now is we're being asked to make a false distinction between being an American Jew and an American Zionist, as if you can love your country, but not your ancestral home, as if you can be Jewish, but only if you reject the belief that Jews have the right to self-determination in our homeland. As if you can mourn anti-Semitism in the past, but must stay silent in the face of it today. This is the modern-day Dreyfus Affair, equipped with the tools of modern technology. It is a coordinated effort, both on the ground and through the media, to target the very existence of the Jewish people. It is a movement that manipulates well-meaning people into believing that opposing Zionism isn't anti-Semitic, when in truth, denying the Jewish right to a homeland is the most dangerous form of anti-Semitism today. Misinformed activists are fueling this distinction to turn the common man or woman against the common Jew, to justify shaming someone wearing a kippah or tearing down posters of kidnapped children. This isn't activism, it's intimidation. Foreign Jewry is being forced to make a harrowing distinction between Judaism and Zionism, as if one can live without the other. And it must be called out. I shouldn't feel more vulnerable in a classroom in Chicago than I did in a combat zone. DePaul has failed me, not just as a student, but as a human being. Universities are supposed to be places of information, safety, and dialogue, but instead they become platforms for fear, mob rule, and censorship. That's why I'm here, to say enough. This lawsuit is not just about what happened to me. It's about every Jewish student who's been made to feel unsafe. It's about the double standard we face, and it's about the institutions that allowed it to happen. I want to believe in a better DePaul, one where you don't have to take legal action just to be treated with dignity. But until that day comes, I'll keep speaking up, because silence only protects the oppressor. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Michael Kaminsky, Michael Kaminsky. I'm a student at DePaul University, but today I speak to you as a survivor, a fighter, and a proud American Jew who refuses to stay silent in the face of injustice. I'm here to announce today that I'm a lead plaintiff in the lawsuit against DePaul University. On November 6th, Max and I were viciously assaulted in broad daylight by masked individuals just a few feet away from a public safety university officer who did absolutely nothing to ensure our safety. He stood by and watched the attack happen. Since then, we've been prone to threats, anti-Semitic slurs, and persistent harassment from our peers. Yet, the university continues to persist. There is nothing they can do. No arrests, no accountability, no justice. This country was built on the core values of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Jewish students should feel safe on their campuses. When universities infringe on those rights, they must be held accountable. My family emigrated from the Soviet Union to escape anti-Semitism and build a better life for themselves in America. Over the course of the last year, I'm reliving their trauma on my own American campus. I will not accept that. My family will not accept that. Max and I are standing up because we will not bow down to fear, hate, or intimidation. We are here to speak out because silence is complicity. And we're taking action because never again means never again. Not here, not now, not ever. To every Jewish student watching this, be strong in your convictions and don't be afraid to show your Jewishness. It takes one voice to make a difference, one person to set a precedence. Let that one person be you. To every university failing its Jewish students, justice will be served. We are not Jews with trembling knees. We are proud, we are strong, and we are survivors. I'm Israel High, and may God bless the United States of America.
Thank you. Jacqueline and Lisa are available for questions now. Max and Michael gave their statements, so not taking questions at this time.
What are you asking of the university? What's the lawsuit asking?
We are asking, it's a negligent, for damages on behalf of both Max and Michael, both physical damages, emotional damages, and as we go through the discovery process, we will learn a lot more what that entails. We will learn a lot more what that entails.
And are they still students?
Yes, they are still active DePaul University students.
What parties in the lawsuit? Is it anyone else other than DePaul University?
DePaul University.
What year are they? Sorry.
Max is a first year at DePaul, and Michael is a junior.
Question, but I'm going to move over here to ask you. Are there any other universities that you're looking at or encouraging other students who've been affected by anti-Semitism?
We are always looking at universities that have an anti-Semitism problem, and we're hoping that this case serves as a cautionary tale to colleges and universities across the country. Lawfare Project does have active cases against several other universities at the moment, but we don't have any current plans to file any more unless we have to.
Any plans for a class action lawsuit?
Not at this time.
Did you say the date when the attack took place?
November 6th?
Yeah.
And that's November 6, 2023?
2024.
2024. a trial date? No. The lawsuit was filed this morning, and we won't get a court date for a number of weeks.
And the only plaintiffs are Max and Michael.
Correct.
What about other Jewish students at DePaul? Sorry, move over here. Ask them.
We've been in contact with other Jewish students at DePaul. Max and Michael are the current plaintiffs of this lawsuit that was filed this morning.
Students at DePaul reported any other attacks or harassment against them that your organization's aware of?
There have been several attacks, several incidents of threats and anti-Semitism on DePaul's campus leading up to the attack against Max and Michael, which is one of the most troubling elements of this case because we do believe it was foreseeable and it was preventable had the school taken action initially when they first received these threats and the anti-Semitism on campus. Yes.
To this day.
Yes. There are student groups that continue to distribute flyers with Max's picture on them, saying he got what he deserved when he was attacked, branding him an IDF butcher, labeling him as wanted, and the school has made no efforts to stop the distribution of those flyers around their campus or those actions on social media.
And if I may add, the attackers also remain at large. The attackers also remain at large. They have not been apprehended, so there's still ongoing concern for the safety of these students and other students as well.
Is the university offering any kind of security for Max and Michael or any Jewish students?
The university has made some efforts to provide extra security for Max and Michael. However, we do not feel like it is enough. They don't feel safe on campus. Max in particular, who has been targeted specifically by these harassment campaigns, has chosen to take most of his classes online this semester out of fear for his safety going to campus. So the efforts that DePaul has made, we feel, have been insufficient so far.
Any concerns about this lawsuit being announced about that, potentially shaking things up on campus or inciting a response from groups that are harassing them?
There's always concerns when something like this happens. We hope that it doesn't escalate things, and the school should know that taking any sort of retaliation against Max and Michael for this lawsuit is not permissible. So we're hopeful that this lawsuit will bring about positive change, not negative.
If I may add one thing. This lawsuit should also be a wake-up call, not just to DePaul University, but to universities in Chicago and around the country, that they can't continue taking for granted the safety of Jewish students. They need to act and make sure that they're safe. And when that action doesn't happen, we see this result in physical violence against Jewish students. This is not an academic discussion. This is actual harm that happens to actual students like Max and Michael. And this needs to be addressed by DePaul. This needs to be addressed by every other university that's experiencing campus hostility on the scale that DePaul is. So this is a wake-up call that you can't stop. You need to stop procrastinating. You need to stop finding excuses. You need to act to do your job to ensure that your Jewish students are safe.
I have a question for you. So, President Trump has appointed, I don't know the proper title, anti-Semitism czar. Is that helping at all? Do you notice anything? Are you in touch?
I think that we are all noticing on college campuses across the country that there is action being taken by the U.S. government. How it will play out remains to be seen. Everything is still in its nascent stages. But that's not to say that we can ignore cases like Max and Michael. We have to be proactive with litigation and address the specific harm that occurs to specific students. The Trump administration or any other administration, this is not a political issue. We expect the government to act to support and to uphold the civil rights of Jewish students. But we also expect the universities to uphold their legal rights, as we're doing here.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, could you spell your name for us?
It's Gerard, G-E